people have not really learned how to do business, and they're running their business becomes a primary challenge. Now, the second thing is, while they're going on this entire journey, while they're traveling through this entire journey, they get so involved in their business. When I say involved in their business, I would even say lost in their business, because now they don't know what to do about it. Where is money going to come from? What is this going to lead to? What is that going to lead to? They forget that business is one aspect of their entire life. It's not their entire life. Business is just one aspect of their entire life. So what happens is, this directly impacts their health. This directly impacts their mental wellness. This directly impacts their relationships, because the only thing that they can talk about is business, business, and business. And most of them who are talking only about business are struggling to be in business. That's the bigger challenge.
Namaste and welcome to the JRS show after a long time. I'm so sorry for not showing up for a long time, and I didn't upload any episode for a long time. I'm so sorry for that. But I'm back with the JRS show, and today's guest speaker is an amazing person. Before I start saying about that speaker, I just want to tell you something that, doing business, coming to entrepreneurship, right now it looks like fancy thing, and entrepreneurship fancy word, coming to entrepreneurship looks like fancy thing. But let me tell you something, being an entrepreneur, I know that there is a lot of thing goes in the back end, a lot of struggle, a lot of learning, a lot of investment, and a lot of things goes, and then you get the result. It's not an easy thing. That being an entrepreneur is not easy. Actually, nothing is easy. I always say that if you want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer, you want to do whatever you want to do in your life, it takes courage, it takes effort, it takes consistency, it takes commitment, a lot of things. Then you reach wherever you want to. And today's guest speaker is Swastik, and I really followed up for a long time to have him in this show, because I know his journey. He went through a lot of things. Now he's rocking in his field, and he said so many things that will help you being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, to grow in your life. So are you ready for this episode? Yes? Type yes. So yeah, I'm just going to bring him to the show. Let's welcome Swastik to the JRS show. Welcome to the JRS show. It's an honor to have you here. Yeah. What is your journey like? How did you start from? Though I know a little bit, I hear your story from YouTube and somewhere else, but I want to hear from you that how did you start and what is your childhood, and you came so far. What took you here?
So if I have to recap, it's been an interesting journey, and it's been a journey with a lot of lessons, like everybody else. And one thing that's happened is I've been able to capitalize on a lot of lessons in my life. And so, not going too far along, I started my engineering, and I was not really good at what I did. And I'm glad that I realized that I am horrible at engineering, because somewhere I was planning to write my GRE and go abroad, and I thought that will be a new path, and that's what the general path looks like for most people. If you do engineering, then you go do your masters, and then you settle somewhere else out of the country, and it works for a lot of people. There's no denying that at all. It definitely works for a lot of people. And I'm not here to give anybody gyan that people who are entrepreneurs are doing great and people who are in a job are not doing great. I have so many friends who are doing amazingly well in their jobs. But what I realized was, I'm not a person who could sit doing something that I dislike. Now, the challenge was, I didn't understand engineering, and it didn't really make sense to me. And perhaps that's also because it didn't interests me, I would say. Because if I look at my same domain of engineering, and then if I happen to have done my audio engineering as well. Now that's a very interesting part, where I say I don't like engineering, and then I did my audio engineering, because that's the part that I was interested in. If I look at it, a lot of subjects that I was being taught in college came back during my audio engineering, and I'm like, shit, why is it that I hated it back then? Why is it that I like it now? Right now, at this point, so many of these subjects that I really disliked back then, I've started to develop a passion for it, because I see a real world application and real world usage of what I'm studying. So I study massively. And but back then I absolutely hated studies. Absolutely, I couldn't stand the thought of opening my book and even reading a little. So yes, I'm glad that I didn't really pursue engineering and continue with that. And I think somewhere the wake up call came in. The wake up call came in through multiple incidents, which it's been I've spoken about it a lot. So that's something that I'd like to skip here. But a wake up call came in, and I decided to pursue my interest into something else. And now, that being said, I didn't know what that something else was. It's not like I suddenly realized that shit, being an entrepreneur is my thing, because I had no idea what entrepreneurship even meant. And till today, I'm a regular learner of what it means to be an entrepreneur, and I'm figuring things out. And what is happening is, on the journey of me figuring things out, I happen to be teaching people what I have figured out. The small parts that I figured out, I've been helping people with it. And so many people who want assistance in the same thing, and I've been helping them. And as I grow, I'll continue to help the people with how I'm growing. Right. So I started my journey as an entrepreneur. Started with interior designing. I also happened to start pursuing a diploma in building design, and then started with the whole interior designing game because I thought there was money in it. And then a lot of things started happening, hopping from one place to the next place to the next place to the next place, saying, okay, this is not my cup of tea. 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 And then I took up a job as well. I took up a job for a brief period of time. And honestly, in the job, I happened to learn a lot. There's so much that I picked up in that course of me doing a job. Parallelly, I was, for a brief period of time, I was working as an Amazon e-com specialist. And then in between somewhere, I was also working as a consultant in a consulting firm, and a lot of lessons that I learned from these two spaces. And then when I came back on my journey, where I wanted to restart my journey, a lot of things that I'd learned from my consulting space, and having started a few of my businesses, and the mistakes that I realized that I made, this helped me get into this new phase of consulting for people. And it started out as me consulting for a few people, and then I started doing this to a larger audience. And then what happened is, I realized, if there was a course or a program around it, that would help. So I happened to create a course, and that sold for a while. And then we stopped doing courses too. We stopped doing courses, where I started conducting workshops for a relatively larger scale of audience. And then at this point, when I was doing this course for the workshops for a larger scale of audience, I didn't really get to connect with people. Now at this point, I do workshops for a very small group of audience. And for me, what interests me about this whole game is that when I do it for a very small group of audience, I know every person sitting in the room. Every person, I like to know what they do. I like to know what their challenges are. I like to know where they're from, what is their background like, and that's where I feel connected and I feel like I can help them more. So I've been working with a very small group of people, and yeah, that's been the journey.
Yeah, so it's like quite similar. When I also started off, I didn't know what to do. I thought I'll be a
Right.
doctor. Then when I came to my 12th, I'm like, it's not my cup of tea, because
Right.
it was ये feed किया जाता है. It is like go and study and do a job. And I'm not blaming those who are happy in their job doing well. It's very good. But I realize it's something I cannot do, because I am someone, and I started skipping things. No, I'll not do that. Going for UPSC, no, I'll not do that. I cracked J-main, I'll not do that. So it kept happening like that. I'm like, I cannot stick to anything. What I will do in my life. But then when I came to business, I joined a network marketing company. But then I realized that business is something I'm enjoying. I love the space. When I go to stage, when I create magic, I love that thing. So that's
Super,
how also
super.
I started off creating
Right,
courses.
right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
I
That's
said
beautiful.
quite similar. That's why.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you feel that you are successful, or what success means to you?
So for me, essentially, success. Now, usually when somebody is asked this question, it always feels like a red carpet answer, because the minute somebody asks you what success means, the most fanciest answer comes out, right? So for me, what I have to tell you is, I feel good on a regular basis. I feel good about myself. I feel good about the situation that I'm in. I feel good about the problems that come in my life as well. When I say I feel good about the problems, I mean that problems come in on a daily basis, very regular basis, and I'm in a place where I'm able to tackle the problems. I'm able to tackle the problems. That's what I mean by I feel good. It's not that I've this become the spiritual being who sees any problem and not that. I mean that I somewhere feel like I feel good about being able to tackle these problems. So even though I might get frustrated in that instance, I'm able to see that the good thing in that problem sooner than later. So on an overall instance, I feel good. So the fact that I feel good, I think I feel successful too, because I didn't feel good for a very long period of time. So I feel that shift. So maybe I can say that back then I was not successful and now I feel successful. And if I continue to feel good for the rest of my life, I think I've stayed successful.
I feel like success is very subjective, person to person. It always varies.
Absolutely.
I also
100%.
when I am growing, I know that my growth is happening. I'm doing something better than yesterday. I know that I'm going on the way, and that is success. I don't feel like there is. Initially, it was a goal. Okay, I'll do this. Now it's like you have to keep going on. There is no end goal, and you have to stop. It's like that. I
Right.
feel on that.
Right. Absolutely.
So I just want to ask you that with this success and definition and all that, I just want to ask you that what are the things that you saw that people are facing, and three or four problems that you think that you can help them with, and why you feel like it's a very difficult problem that people are going through or something like that.
So I think one of the primary challenges that people are facing is one is when they enter into their business. Most people have not really studied business. Most people have not really studied business. And when I say they're not studied business, I'm not talking about an MBA, because an MBA teaches you how to be good at administration of, and get a job as a maybe in a senior role. But you've not really studied different functions and different aspects of business. Now, of course, when you're starting out, you don't even need to know all the aspects of business, but there are a few aspects of business that directly bring in money, namely sales, maybe marketing. And all of these functions, if you're not good at it, and if you feel like this is something that has to come in naturally, no, that's not the case. People study for it for years, and I have over 100 books in these subjects right next to me here. And there's so much studies that goes behind how to better your sales, how to better your marketing, and that's one aspect. So which means people have not really studied how to get money into their business, and as a result they feel that I have to give it a lot of time before I make any form of money. And now, sadly, what happens is when they give it a lot of time, let's say 2 years has passed, 3 years has passed, and they're barely making any money. When they started out, that excitement was there. In 2, 3 years, I'm going to give it time and things will work out. But after 2, 3 years, when it doesn't work out, they start doubting themselves. That's the first aspect. So people have not really learned how to do business, and they're running their business becomes a primary challenge. Now, the second thing is while they're going on this entire journey, while they're traveling through this entire journey, they get so involved in their business. When I say involved in their business, I would even say lost in their business, because now they don't know what to do about it. Where is money going to come from? What is this going to lead to? What is that going to lead to? They forget that business is one aspect of their entire life. It's not their entire life. Business is just one aspect of their entire life. So what happens is this directly impacts their health. This directly impacts their mental wellness. This directly impacts their relationships, because the only thing that they can talk about is business, business, and business. And most of them who are talking only about business are struggling to be in business. That's the bigger challenge. So there is a challenge. They're so dwelled upon that challenge that it creates more challenges. That I would say is the second aspect, which means they're not really able to manage their life. That becomes a second challenge. And third one is, if I look at the whole game, we've never really been taught anything about money. Nothing through your entire education system. Not a thing has been taught about money. One aspect is to earn money. You've been taught how to get a job. Again, you've not even been taught how to get a job, because if I look at the people who've gotten really good jobs, they've done their own studies. They've done their own studies on how to crack interviews, how to present themselves better, what are the subjects that the company is looking for. They do their studies, they do that additional, reading that they have to do, studying that they have to do, and then they get into these companies, because any company that's hiring somebody for a great role, they're hiring them to solve a bigger problem, and that is also not being taught. The only thing that happens once you clear your one part of education is you land up in a job, or you could land up in a job, and that job doesn't in any way mean that you are doing what you've studied. Now, that's the aspect of the job part. But coming back to the conversation on money, so as a result, we've not really been taught how to earn money. We've never really been taught how to manage money. We've never really been taught how to grow money. So the entire life, the other challenge that I have is everybody's talking about financial freedom, but nobody's talking about how to get it. Everybody thinks that financial freedom is about getting more money. And few people do manage to get more money, but real financial freedom is where you're able to get money, keep money, and grow money. Most people never get to the first step. The people who get to the first step, very few people get to the second and the third. So I look at these being the challenges. Business not being, you've not studied about business. The second being you're looking at business as your entire life, and the third one is you've not done anything about money. You don't know anything about money. You need to learn about money.
Yeah. Like learning is something that when I also came to business, I came because of network marketing because I wanted to earn money. But I didn't know
Right.
like no one from my family is coming into entrepreneurship, did something like that. I came just to the sake of that because I came from a lower financial background. I thought I'll earn so much money. Then I get frustrated that no money is coming, nothing is happening. Sale. I never knew what is sales, how to do all that in the fancy word. Entrepreneurship also I didn't know. It's like doctor, engineer, as I said. But then with time, when I met my mentors, the actually the turning point happened when I started joining Siddharth Rasekar. So it is like I started feeling like what the hell I am doing and why I'm doing this. So then the realization, I also agree that you need a mentor. You have to surrender. You have to learn things.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it's like, so we talk about problem. Now you have to give the solution. Like what are the steps if you want to start a business? And what is the roadmap to reach at least somewhere where you will feel happy because you are doing a business. So when we start, because a lot of things come on a way that then we feel confused, why sale is not happening, it's not happening, that's not happening. So what is the roadmap?
See, when I talk to business owners, my forte is again talking to primarily bootstrap business owners. So I don't talk to people who are into funding because that's not my game. That's not a space that I've been into, and I don't play that game. And as a result, I'm not qualified to talk about that game as well. But for any business owner who is bootstrapped, one of their primary focus should be to look at their personal profits. Everybody thinks that profits comes in last. That's not true. When I say profits, I'm not saying go crazy about money and you should do anything and everything to get money. What I'm saying is when you're starting your business, you should be focused on how much money you could make on a transaction. Because if you're not able to get profitable from the beginning, you're not going to be able to get profitable later. Because what happens is in a startup culture, the objective is not to get profitable in the beginning. Their objective is to get profitable much later. And the advantage that they have is there is a lot of funds that could be coming in potentially through different investors over a course of time. And as a result, they have that leeway of spending that kind of money to acquire customers in the beginning and then get profitable later. But when you're putting your own money from your pocket, you don't have that privilege. You have to make money from the beginning, and a lot of people get confused between the two. So don't get confused between the startup game versus the bootstrap game. They're two very different games. So first thing is you should see if your whole business model is a profitable one. Primary thing. Now, the second one is while you're going through this entire journey of business, let's say if you've considered that I'm going to start my business with X amount of money, let's say 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs is the initial capital that I'm going to invest. You need to set aside 20 to 30% of your money to learn about business, because if you don't set up that kind of money to actually learn about your business, you're going to lose it anyways. Now, the thing is, after you lose it, that's where a lot of people come to their senses and think that I need to learn about it now. Right. So in the initial game itself, when you're starting your business, if you set some money aside saying that I'm going to learn it in a structured way, your life is going to be so much more easier. And the third one is be patient through the process of learning. So people think that the minute I learn something, then magically the next day everything is going to be different. No, that's not the case. You've just started learning. The first time you learned how to ride a cycle, you fell multiple times. And after that, you started balancing better. And now you don't even have to think about when you get on a cycle. Same thing with your car. Same thing with anything else that you do. And same thing with speaking as well. I can remember the first time I started speaking, I was stuttering so bad. I had no idea how to even open my mouth. And at this point, it's a very natural thing for me. So it's not that it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice, and you have to give it that time. So that's the solution. So look at being profitable, invest in your learning, and then be patient about the entire game. And then understand once you've gotten this part, since I was talking about the whole lifestyle aspect of it, you need to know that there's so much more to life than business. Business definitely supports your life, and you have to make sure that your business is supporting your life. I happened to be having a conversation with a few entrepreneurs about 2 weeks back, And when one gentleman asked me, Swastik, it's been so long, I've been so, so into my business at this point, I don't see a way out. I don't see a way out of my, which means my relationships are not that great. My health is not that great, but the only thing that I know at this point is business. I don't understand anything else. I don't know how to get back, and I don't. And everything being said, I feel like if I stop focusing on my business, even that will fall apart.
Yeah.
That's a sad state of affair to be in.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he's made a decision to rectify it and slowly course correct, and it's going to take him a longer period of time. But for those people who are starting out or are in their initial stage, you need to really ask this question: is my business going to support my lifestyle? And if your business is not going to support your lifestyle, there is no point in creating something that's not going to support you in the future. Everybody is looking at their short term gains and staking their long term in life. Even if your business makes you a lot of money in the next 3 years, and in 3 years if you stop working in it and everything falls apart, you're going to have to restart something and do something again later. Which means, let's say, all your so-called fancy dreams of I want to travel the world, all of this is crap. Now, if that's not the lifestyle that you want, which is absolutely all right, then again, define what your life should be like and then see if your business is going to support your life or not. That's something that you have to focus on.
Amazing. I actually, well, once. So it's like always taught us that okay, personal life and professional life is different. What I feel is if you are personally disturbed, your health is not good, your relationship is not good, then your professional life indirectly is going to affect after some days. It's like you make a lot of money, but you don't have your health to wake up and to enjoy that money. So it's like, what the hell I'm doing? So it's always like you have to manage it, you have to understand what your lifestyle is going to take. And yeah, so next question, before I go for the last question, it is another one question before the last question that I want to ask you, that what is your life looks like. It is always a interesting question, being an entrepreneur, doing workshops, doing crazy things, people loves you, what your daily life looks like.
My daily life is it's a very normal thing. For instance, today, if I look at it now, I wake up in the morning and then I'm in my office somewhere at about usually at about this time, 9:15 odd is where I'm in my office. And lately, I've been getting very interested in a few new subjects that I'm learning. So the first part of my day goes into studying. At least till 12:30 in the morning, I spend a lot of time studying. So I usually don't take any calls in the morning, and post 12:30 I have a few clients that I very closely work with. So in the afternoon is where I connect with them and see where that goes. And by the evening I'm done with that, and that part decides. In the evening is where I either decide that I have to study more, or then we make plans. Ramya and I, we step out, we go out, watch. I'm a huge movie fan. I watch every single movie in the theater. I'm a huge play fan. I watch almost all the plays that come out as well. And I love driving. I drive for thousands of kilometers. And so on a daily basis, it's mostly studying because that's something that I really, really enjoy. Um, and then there are the workshops that usually happen on weekends. And if there are offline events, there's a lot of planning that goes behind that, a lot of work that goes behind that. But otherwise, it's a very relaxing life, you could say. I really like how I feel, and it's quite relaxed. It's not very hectic. A lot of people think that it's a hectic this one. It's just that I'm usually scheduled on a lot of events and calls, and yeah, that's how it is.
As you said about movie, this question just recently came to my mind that what can you suggest 2 or 3 movies that everyone should watch and why?
Everyone should watch. See, the thing is, here's the thing. Just because I watch movies, there is no. I don't really watch movies for the lessons behind it. But that being said, there is one movie that I watch when I lose motivation, and primarily for me, that's Mission Mangal. That's Mission Mangal that I watch, and in fact, at the end of all the workshops, I play the song of Mission Mangal, which is Shabashya, which is happened to be sung by my dear friend Anand Bhaskar as well, and. So I watch that for motivation, but otherwise, when I watch movies, it's just I just fancy movies. So there are no movie recommendation that I would say that this movie has taught me lessons. But yes, that being said, I've also really liked how the movie Founder has been created in the business world. So for my personal motivation, I watch Mission Mangal, but I really do like the movie Founder to get a lot of business lessons because I make my students watch that movie and come back to me with lessons from that movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of movie actually which gives us lesson, but as you said, you watch it for fun. It's like
Yeah, I watch
a
it purely for
side
fun.
passion, playing and all. You do that. We all need to do that. I also
Yeah.
watch some series, but it's like it's not always not about lesson. It's about sometimes it's about fun, sometimes it's about lesson. It happens like that. Last
For me,
question.
all movies,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
studying I do is for my lessons, and movies I watch it for my fun.
Yeah, I said no, it depends. It's your something that you love
Right,
to
right.
watch. I'll not take a lot of time of your as you are busy, I know. So I'll ask you the last question. I asked to everyone actually this question. What's that one message that you want to give to the world, the people who are listening us out?
See, if you want to, if you want to create a good lifestyle, you need to learn. And one thing is for sure, anything that you don't know will take money out of you. Either you spend money on learning it, or it'll go somewhere. And this is not something that I'm saying just because I, coach people and consult for people. But this is on a regular period. I've experienced these lessons. In fact, very recently I lost a good chunk of money because I didn't know a specific subject, and because I didn't know that specific subject, somebody took me for a ride, and as a result I lost that money. Now either I could have spent money learning that subject, or I can spend money losing. I've spent money in any case. Now I've realized after spending money that I have to learn that subject. So you either learn or you lose. That's how the game. That's the only lesson that I have. You spend time, money learning for it, or you're going to spend your money and then you're going to spend time again re-earning that money again. So your life is just going to become spending on losing things and re-earning money. Instead of that, if you become a little more proactive in life as opposed to being reactive. See, proactivity at this point, I know that there are a few aspects that I have to be proactive about, and even post that, life throws a lot of curveballs and I become reactive to it, which means there are a few things that I was not aware of, and only when something hits me, that's where I become aware of it. But a lot of people, even after life hits them, they wait for the next hit. So just be more proactive in life and stop. That's where you'll eventually stop reacting. You'll become a more calmer person, and because you have taken action as opposed to life forcing action out of you.
Amazing. So thank you so much, Swastik, for being here. And I will wait for the next episode with you. And
Yes, 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 please. Thank you so much for having
great
me here.
lesson.
Yes, all the very best. Thank you so much for doing what you do. And first of all, thank you so much for following up with my team. And I know that you've done this for quite some time. But anyways, for all the viewers, Jyotsna is doing a fantastic job, and you need to, give her credits for the work that she does, because behind every speaker that she gets here, the amount of efforts that she puts in to get the speaker here, that's something that you don't see, and that's something that you don't know. And very proud of the work that you do.
Thank you so much for saying this. I feel like it's a journey and I enjoy what I do. I am enjoying it. So when I talk to people like you, it gives me a lot of like it's morning, I'm doing this interview. It gives me a lot of energy and things to do whatever you are doing and to reach somewhere, whatever I want to. And I love connecting with people. So once again, thank you so much, Swastik, for joining the Jerry Show. Thank you so much, all of you, for listening and staying till the end. Because you stayed till the end, I have something for you. I want to invite you to my Facebook VIP community, which is totally free, where I teach people to build good habits and to live a good life. I truly believe that you need to follow good habits. And I want to tell you something that building habits is not an easy game. Trust me, it's not an easy game, but it's simple. You need to follow the system. If you are following the system, then you can do this. So I want to tell you something. If you really want to replace your bad habits with good habits, or if you want to create new habits, then I'm here to help you. This is my free VIP community which you can join. I'm sharing the link below the video, so you can join and you can participate. You can take the action. You can go ahead in your life. And another one thing, whatever you learned in this episode, because Swastik said so many things. I got a lot of ball ones. I am sure that you must have got some ball ones. So please share in the comment section why I am saying this. You just attended the session and you heard so many things. You listened so many things. Now to memorize it, I want you to type in the comment section. Write it down. Once you will remember, recall and write it down, you will remember few points. And I will always suggest you And right now also I'm suggesting you go ahead and implement in your life. If you are a true entrepreneur, if you are a businessman and you want to succeed, follow everything that Swastik said. Most importantly, learn to grow in your life. Thank you so much once again for watching the JRS show. I will be back with the next episode. Till then, stay happy. Bye bye.